Did you know that if you use GridMaker in your schools across your multi-academy trust, we actually give you another tool called iAbacus that helps you evaluate and improve provision. It helps school leaders or personal development leaders in each school evaluate and improve their personal development provision, and then it makes those insights, those human intelligent aspects, available to you as a personal development lead for your trust or as a central team. It's an incredibly simple yet powerful way to get a complete picture of not just the evidence using GridMaker across your trust, but also the impact, the provision as a whole. Let's have a look at how it works. So you're obviously aware of GridMaker, this beautifully simple tool that we have to track and monitor provision through evidence. And of course, you'll have your grids, which show gaps in provision. They celebrate successes and they help school leaders and personal development leaders really see where and identify where and show others where SMSC and British values and personal development happens. But let me show you what we give you with regards to iAbacus. So another beautifully simple tool, this time based on an abacus, and what we give you is a platform where you can get a complete picture of not just evidence, but actually the quality and the impact of provision. So you'll see down the left hand side here, we've got all the different academies in your trust or in a trust. The bead positions, they represent where that academy is at the moment. And as you can see here, we've got Vista Academy, who have moved from just into expected right up to this top level here. And incidentally, we're using the Ofsted Toolkit with the personal development and well-being strand being identified for each academy. So you'll notice the language across the top, urgent improvement right through to exceptional. But back to those beads, you can see Vista Academy here. They've moved right up to that top end of expected, so probably bordering on strong, whereas Riverview Academy, they're already there. And Trent Academy, well, they've put themselves into exceptional. So straight away, as a personal development lead or as a central team, you've got that visualization. You've got that vista, that view of where performance or effectiveness lies. But it's not just about looking at those bead positions, because what we do, we empower personal development leads in each school, or SMSC coordinators or British values champions, whoever's leading that provision in each school. We empower them through a process. Let me show you what they will have done to put that bead on an abacus. Hopefully, you'll see that it's really simple, really straightforward, yet it's incredibly robust. Let me show you. They will have dragged their bead onto the abacus and they'll have followed the abacus model. First, they'll check their judgment against criteria, in this case, the descriptor from the Ofsted Toolkit. They'll have provided evidence to justify that judgment. That's logical. If someone says they meet the expected standard or they're strong or exceptional, we'd expect them to be able to provide evidence. They'll have analysed the current situation, diagnosed what's helping and what's hindering them as a school, and then they'll have put together actions to either strengthen their exceptional provision or tackle the issues that they face. Let's have a look at that process that they'll have followed. First, it's simply a case of checking the judgment against criteria. So we provide the Ofsted Toolkit. In fact, you can link through to it if you want to and open the PDF document. So here, what will happen is the personal development lead in the school will look at the criteria. Maybe they'll discuss it with colleagues, but they'll really moderate that judgment according to these descriptors. It might be they push that bead into strong if that's where they feel they are. So we simply provide a mechanism to help people make accurate judgments. Brilliant. The bead is now where it is. Let's move on to the next stage. Here, the personal development lead will signpost the evidence they have in their school. They might mention GridMaker. Well, hopefully they'd mention GridMaker if they're using it to track provision. They might mention assemblies, pastoral care. All they'll do is describe their evidence and probably link off to the files that they can provide. Again, a little tip here. What we do, we signpost the evidence section of the Ofsted Toolkit. So if personal development leads in schools want to know what kind of evidence is going to help them justify that judgment, they can just open up the toolkit and have a look. Okay, so far so good. That person will have made a judgment with their team. They'll have signposted evidence. This next stage is incredibly powerful. What they do is they just consider what's helping them and what's hindering them as a school. And on this left-hand side, they put in all the positives, their successes. They celebrate the successes that they have in their school at the moment and that are pushing them in the right direction. But we want our personal development leads to be open about the challenges they face in their school. So on the right-hand side, they will list the hindering factors and they'll just simply put those in, the barriers to improvement. If they do this diagnostic and they make it very clear what's supporting them, pushing them in the right direction and what challenges they face, in the action planning, they can just expand them and say, okay, what are we going to do about it? Who's going to lead on that? What success criteria are we trying to achieve? And when will we do this by? And have we made any progress? So let's just recap what we've guided people through. We've helped them make an initial judgment based on their professional knowledge. We've helped them look at criteria just to check whether that's an accurate judgment. We've then helped them signpost any evidence, including their GridMaker account with all the PDF documentation that it easily exports. We've helped them analyse the current situation of why they're at that point. And of course, this is not a compliancy tool. This is not a compliancy audit, a checklist. This is about improvement. So we want to help them improve. And to do that, we just provide simple planning strips that they can expand and then complete. This puts that personal development lead in the school in a complete position of power. They know where they are, they know why they're at that point, and they know how to improve. And when they share it with you as a personal development lead in a trust or as a central team across that trust, you're going to get those insights. You're going to be able to see them and you're going to be able to dive into them and see who needs support and why. You'll have easily accessible to your exceptional provision. And this is the kind of provision that you'll be wanting to replicate across the trust. But Enterprise Academy, we can see they've put their bead here. What was their evidence behind that judgment? What was their helping and hindering factors? What are the barriers they're facing and how do they plan to overcome them? So you've got your Abacus here. One of the really easy ways to share your Abacus with colleagues in your central team, your trust board, inspectors, is to export it as a PDF. So let's say later down the line, your trust undergoes an inspection. We know that's being forecast. You might want to export this PDF and actually have it as a piece of tangible evidence showing where your trust is when it comes to personal development. And again, I can click on the bead. It will take me down to the school's evidence. It will show me links off to their files, their GridMaker account. I'll see their helping and hindering factors, and of course, their action planning. So hopefully here, you've seen that iAbacus supports your GridMaker. It's an exceptionally simple platform. It's incredibly simple to use, but what an amount of insight it gives you. So please take advantage of this offer. Take us up on using GridMaker and iAbacus and let us support you in your trust.